Hello, we're studying from the study of 10 Szfírot. We only have Hebrew text for this right now. We're in volume 3 for this. You can send questions to Sviva Tova or Kab TV, and pertinent questions will be answered during the lesson. We're in Taf Taf Nun Kufchet in Hebrew, and here we go, on item 6. By this you will understand the whole matter of the gadlut, of the degree in the partzufim of Atzilut, depends and is measured on the extent of the nitzutzim that are clarified and arise from Bia, because all the aviyut of the masach of the degree is corrected with them. And when we raise the measure of the nitzutzin, of the coarseness of Bchina Aleph, there is no other correction of the masach but on the level of Zeranpin. And when the rising of the sparks of the measure of the aviyut of Bchina Bet, there's a different correction on that masach, and they emerge on a different level, the level of Bina, and so on until this place. Meaning the measure of each level of the Partzuf of Atzilut depends on the measure of the nitzutzim that are raised and clarified in Bia.
It's clear. It depends on the aviyut of the nitzutzim, of the roots of Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, and they come up to the, and it's found in the Tosefet of Atzilut.
With that, you should understand the secret of Ibur, because with these three Bchinot, meaning the Reshimo that remains in Atzilut, which is the Bchina of the pure light in it, and the Reshimo that descended.
That's one. And two is the Reshimo.
And second, the Reshimo that came down with it to the Bia, meaning the coarse light in it.
Three.
And the vessels themselves of the degree, as from the force of Galgal Ta'inaim of the lower one in all three of these Bchinot,
that we're now talking about, that are called the Orot of the Kelim,
which are adhered to the upper Achab, in all three Bchinot of Achab. Here they extend and ascend to Atzilut with these Achab. With that, they are not worthy for Zivug with the upper light, prior to receiving their correction. Because as they emerge from the Klipot and Bia, they are mixed with the lower hay, meaning in the Bchina of coarseness of Bchina Dalet, which the Bchina of its Masach is no longer in Atzilut. And from this you should know that Bchina Dalet of Itlabshut is not in Bchina of Dalet of Aviyut. And even the Bchina of Keter of Atzilut is not there. You also knew that this aviyut of the lower hay was mixed with each and every Szfíra of the 7 primordial kings, which is the reason for the shattering. Hence, the first correction that needs to be corrected is the departure of the coarseness of the lower hay from these sparks, meaning the Bchina of aviyut of the lower hay, as the Masach is no longer operating in her due to the purification of the guf of the Partzuf of Keter Avak, which disappeared from the last Bchina of the Masach and is not returned and renewed in the Partzufim of Nikudim. And also there, other than the big correction, we need to have an additional very important correction, which is to join the Midat Adin with the Midat Rachamim, which is the secret of the rising of the lower hay into Einaim, in which these hays, the lower hay and the last hay, the first hay and the last hay, connect together as noted. Other than that partnership, there's a matter of transgression and punishment for it and the worlds, and this is the matter of the names that were surrounding all of Bria, of creation. They have no place to be revealed. Hence, prior to the sparks receiving these two corrections, they are not worthy for any zivug whatsoever, and these corrections receive them on the secret of Ibur.
Okay, good.
Item 7. Hence, all these prinot that are mentioned in the secret of Ibul are needed, which means the incorporation of the lower one in the zivug of the upper. As in Zeranpin, there are 3 prinot of the upper, which are Arichanpin and Abba and Ima, as it's written inside. And you should know that most of the corrections that come along in Ibul are to correct these 2 main corrections. And though in the 11th part of corrections, and even though their main receivers of the correction are the prinot of Nitzutzin, with that, these 2 other prinot are the Rishimot, that are in the light, the pure light in the Rishimo that remains in Atzilut, and 2, the vessels that are in the Prinat Or Choser, meaning the coarse light that remains below in all this.
3.
And 3, the old kilim of Sag that were used for the lower 7 in Nikudim, and they are also fallen to Biyah. And they too need to be corrected by 2 ways this way, in a manner that these 3 prinot need correction, which are called, according to the Ari, lights, sparks, and kilim. The pure light in the Reshimo remains in Atzilut is called orot, light.
1.
The coarse light in the Reshimot that came down with the kilim are called nitzutzin, sparks.
2.
And Gimel, 3rd, are these vessels, the kilim.
There we start to see how from these shattered kilim, we start to assemble the 3 avchanot that he's talking about before, and in the 6th and 7th portion. And we'll continue to see that in this we need the keter of Abba and Ima that will treat it according to how a person is treated from his Abba and Ima of the Creator, and the Creator is the keter, the Arichanpin.
Item 8. And this is where the Ari says, and here these 3 prinot rose in the secret of Ibul in 3 prinot of Ima. How? In the place of the Reshimo of Yesod of Binah, the lights rose. In the middle place of the slice, of the cut, they rose with the 248 and 68 sparks of light, and in the place of Yesod of Dvuna, the Kilim rose. All these 3 prinot necessitate correction. And it is noted that each prina receives from the prina against it in the upper. Hence, due to the Reshimo being in the prina of the upper 3rd, remains in the Reshimo from all the totality of the light that departed, hence it needs to receive its correction from the prina of Gar of Ima, which is called Bina.
It's the Reshimo of the direct light. That's why it's said here that the Reshimo is in the Prina of Gar.
And as it's been written in the place of the Reshimo of Yesod Bina, the lights rose. And you already know that the Ari always calls the Reshimot in the name Orot, lights. And the coarse light of the Reshimot, which is the 268 sparks that came down with the vessels to Biyah, are, as it clarified, the Prina of Or Chasadim, clothed in Chagat, until Tabur. Hence, they receive the correction from the Prina of Chagat of Ima, and this is where it's written that in the place of the slice, the Rapach sparks rose. You already know that the place of the cut is where the Prina of the general Chazeh, where the Zivug of Chagat is, which is worthy of corrections of the sparks. And the Kilim, from their own discernment, are corrected in the illumination of Nehi. Because the lower 7 of Nikudim, while they emerged from Histaklut Pnimit in the Achap, did not have but illumination of Nehi. Because Abba ve'Ima of Nikudim were then in the Prina of Achap, which came down to the Prina of Chagat. And the lower 7 Nikudim did not remain with any more than the illumination of Nehi, which are called by the Ari the illumination of Kilim. Meaning the Kilim are corrected in Nehi. And in the place of Yesod of Tvuna, the Kilim rose, meaning the Pchina of Nehi. Because Tvuna is the Pchina of Nehi of Ima. In a manner that the 3 Pchinot of lights, sparks, and Kilim receive their corrections from the 3 special foundations. The Kilim receive from Yesod of Pchinat Nehi.
The Yesod of Tvuna.
And the Nitzutzin, the sparks, receive from Yesod of Pchinat Chagat, which is called Chazeh.
And that is Chatach.
And the lights, which are the Reshimot, receive from Yesod of Pchinat Gar, which are called Yesod of Bina. With that, you will also understand what the Ari says, that he says there that the Reshimot, which are called Orot, lights, rose to Man, to the upper 3, and they became their Gimel Go Gimel. Hence, the Kelim rose there to the Pchina of Nehi over there, and were corrected Gimel Go Gimel as clarified.
It's to say that the Orot, the lights, the sparks, and the Kelim can only be corrected by the lights of Bina. In the Gar of Bina, the sparks are being corrected in Nehi. And this is according to the Reshimot of the correction. All of the Reshimot need to rise to Bina, and from there it will be corrected. It's just something that we see that it goes up and it gets corrected. We don't understand what happens in the Zivug where they rise and what's correcting them, what happens after the correction. It's kind of things that we hear. This is what's happening. Onwards.
Item 9. Here it's been clarified well the essence of the Orot Nitzutzin Kilim, lights, sparks, Kilim, and also the matter of their correction, which is obligated from the 3 Yesodot in Ima. The Reshimot, which are the Pchinot of the upper 3, need the Yesod of Gar of Ima. And the sparks, which are the Pchina of Chagat, need the Yesod of Chagat of Ima, which is the Pchina of Chazeh, which are called the place of the slice, of the cut. And the Kelim, which are the Pchina of Nehi, need the Yesod of Nehi of Ima, which is the Pchina of Yesod of Dvuna. Now we will come to understand the numbers 320, 315, and 288. As mentioned, we need to know, in our original knowledge, the matter of the 5 Gvurot of Mansebach.
That's the first, and
which is mentioned in Yesod of Ima.
2.
Also the matter of the 50 gates of Bina. What are they? And here the Ari implied that the 50 gates of Bina, which are the 5 Gvurot, and each Gvura is made up of 10, which are 50. Accordingly, we find that the 5 Gvurot and Mansepach and the 50 gates of Bina are one matter. If so, the change of names, why is it necessary? Although in the Tree of Life, he clarifies them more. And it's mentioned this way. It's noted that the matter of 50 gates, which are in Bina, is the matter of the 42 that are mentioned, which are in Bina. And according to the 7 names of the name, 42 names, and the 7 names themselves, they are 49. And there's the 50th gate, which includes all 49. And it is the upper keter in them. After all, 50 gates of Bina. And do not perplex here. The gate of the 50th gate is alone the keter because it includes all 49 gates and is not a part of a private gate. If so, we won't talk in the totality of these 7 names, which with them are 49, and with the inclusive are 50, but we will talk by the name 42 itself, and so on. Abba, Tamir, and Ganiz Yatir. Hence, the keter of Ima is included in Abba. Because the 42 gates that are upper is the keter in it and is included in Abba, we find that 41 remain alone in Ima, and Gam, Mem Gimel, also in Abba. 43. And this is the secret of also a bird has found a house and so on, and the secret of Bina being called Em, mother, maybe because she lacks from her the keter, and it's included in Abba. Hence, forever Bina is called Em, and understand that. This is as much as he implies.
It has the Mem Aleph, and the Mem Aleph sparks, and Abba has the Mem Gimel. When the Abba has one that went from the Ima to the Ab, that's why it has one more. Abba is called Tamir and Itil, that he has more. Okay, good. So we'll read a bit more.
Item 10. And you can see how here the Ari made sure to clarify for us the 50 gates of Bina from all sides, both from the side of the name 42, which is simple and fulfillment, and the fulfillment of the filling that is in upper Ima from her upper 3, and from the side of the Membet, the 42 of the 7 times 6 letters, which are implied in the parentheses of please with force, which is mentioned in Yeshut in the matter of the lower 7 in Bina, meaning 50 in the upper 3 of Bina, which have the 42 in perfection, 3 partzufim, the first ones in Ak, and we need to correct them. And the 50 gates of Bina in their lower 7, which are Yeshut, on the side of the lights, are not included in the name Membet, since they are below the siyum of the middle line of Archanpin. From the Pchina of lights above its tabur, which is the place of the Chazeh in Or Pnimi. And from the Chazeh of Archanpin and down, which is already considered below tabur. And it is from the Pchina of Zon of Archanpin. And its filling is lacking Nehi of Ak. Hence, all these corrections of Abiyah surround the filling of this deficiency. Although, because Yeshut is still above Tabur of Archanpin, because their place from Chazeh to Tabur is noted, from the side of the Kelim, it is considered that this whole place from Chazeh to Tabur is still in the Pchina of the name Membet, 42, because the Siyum Raglaim of the ends of the Partzufim that are above the Tabur extend from the Tabur itself, and only their Pchina of Yesod ends at Chazeh. Hence, there still is the perfection of the Membet of the 42 from the side of the Kelim. But the Membet is of Kelim.
So it continues.
It already stands in the secret of 7 times 6 letters of Ana Bekoach, please with force, which are the Pchina of the 6 Sfirot Chagat Nehi of Zeranpin. Because the Pchina of lights, there is no Gar, there's no upper 3, but only the Zon. From this you should note that the secret of the name Membet, 42 of the 7 times the 6 letters, which is mentioned in Zon, which is also the Pchina of Yeshut, and is also only the Pchina of 42 Kilim, but not lights.
So there's perfection, but partial. On part of the Kilim, but not on part of the lights. Yes.
Item 11.
So it's to say that Bina has the upper part, and the middle part, and the lower part. In parts of its perfection, it splits into 3 areas.
Item 11. And you should know that this is the source of the division of upper Ima to 2 Partzufim, Bina and Tvuna. And it is not found in any other Szfíra.
There's a great difference between the Ima that's completely in Bestone and the Tvuna once they get in order to take care of the Zeranpin. And so they are opposite one another and are still in one Partzuf. Not for themselves, they're acting, but for the upper and the lower, and towards the Creator and towards the created beings that are below, and not for themselves. That's why they can be in one Partzuf for two parts that are working completely opposite one another. Yes.
Because there's a great distance between the upper three and her lower seven. Her upper three are considered the actual 40 name Mimbet 42,
Perfection.
which is the secret of the three Partzufim of the first Arichanpin, which are called simple and filling of filling, which are already in the essence of perfection. And they did not come in the Partzufim of Atzilut for their own sake, but only in order to emanate the Partzufim below Tabu. Because it's impossible for the Partzufim to emerge below Tabu without the Partzufim above Tabu. It's the same in the Or Pnimi. Whereas the seven lower ones of Binah, which are the Pchinot of Yeshut, already belong to the Pchinah of the Partzufim that need correction. Because from the side of the lights, they stand below Chazer Varchanpin, where the siyum of the middle line of the above Tabur is. Hence, they are associated with the Pchinah below the Tabur Avak, which is still not filled with the lights completely. Meaning from the departure of the goof of the Partzuf of Keter, after its emanation. Because Ab and Sag end in its Tabur, as noted. Hence, the distance is great from Bima to Tvuna. Hence, they divided to two separate Partzufim.
There's a difference between the roles and the discernments, even if that in Atzilut it's all divided. In general, in spirituality, according to the discernment, they can be in reception or in bestowal. It doesn't matter. It matters in their action if they are working towards the upper or the lower. It can be actions that are different, like Garde Acte Sina, or if they're towards one thing, if they're in one intention, one kavanah. And the action doesn't matter what action they do. If it's with the same kavanah intention, then they are close. Okay? A little more. We'll see.
This matter of standing of Yeshut below the Chazer of Arichanpin is not, God forbid, incidental, but rather there's a great reason for it. Because since the Partzufim of Atzilut emerged in the beginning in Katnut, due to the Pchina of the lower Hey and Inaim, here also after the Gadlut, where they already brought down their lower Hey from their Inaim, nevertheless, the impression of the lower Hey does not depart from its place. And all the parsas that came out from the Pchina of the lower Hey and Inaim remain permanent even during the time of Gadlut. And it's been clarified there that et chapya kruma mitachat mochastima verchanpin, meaning below its galgalta enaim, which are kitra and mochastima. And its bina emerged from the pchina of its upper three to the pchina of the lower seven, which is the garon. But this emergence is not felt at all towards the gar of bina, since nevertheless it is in a pchina of or chasadim, in the secret, for he is delighted in mercy, chafetz chesed. Hence, bina is still considered rosh and gar in the secret of the name Membet 42, and the simple filling and filling of filling.
As I say, there's a thing here where escape towards the lower, as in Garon, which is the where it has to escape in order to do the zivugim towards the lower ones and pass on to light. But he himself stays in the same place.
Hence, the upper three of Bina were divided and became the third Partzuf, the three first Partzufim of Atzilut, which are called upper Abba ve'Ima, and their zivug never ever stops. Hence, they end above the chazeh of Arichanpin, meaning until the place that is important still for its bchina of 42, also from the side of the lights. And the whole thing is that they have one flavor. Even though they are below Garav Arichanpin due to the lower hay that remained with an impression in the Kruma of Atrapia from the Tchut of Mochastima, nevertheless it is not blemished at all due to this emergence outwards. And it's considered complete upper three. And it is the Bchina of Rosh like Mochastima itself.
It left just to serve the lower ones.
Hence, the lower seven of Binah, which are Yeshut, which are not the Bchina of Ki Chafetz Chesed Hu, which he is delighted in mercy, because it's the opposite.
Because the connection to the Chokhmah.
They are the Bchina of Chesed, of Chokhmah of Chasadim, as they emanate Zon. And its essence is the illumination of Chokhmah in Chasadim. Here, the whole burden of the emergence of Binah from Rosh to Zat falls upon them, because the impression of the lower hay and the Enayim, which dwells in this Kruma of the Tchut of Mochastima, limits the illumination of Chokhmah in the name Membet. Hence, the Bchina of three first Partzufim of Ak above Tabur. After all, the lower hay is rooted in Tabur of Ak, as noted. Hence, Yeshut must receive the Bchina against them in Ak, which is below Tabur, meaning the lower third of Tiferet of Ak, which is the secret of the Betin. Hence, they were divided from upper Bina, which is from the first three Partzufim of Atzilut, and were to the Bchina of the Partzuf of Zat of Atzilut, but from the Bchina of their light. But on the side of their Kelim, they are still considered Membet, 42. Remember these discernments well, which are between upper Ima and Yeshut, because you cannot extend on this every place.
So we still many times go over these discernments of what is these different binas. And this is our first touch. We heard a bit. We'll go on